grow your wealth, live on your terms.
Every entrepreneur wants to create an amazing business that improves people's lives, creates a great positive impact in the world, and is extremely profitable, produces a boatload of money, right? And such aspiration requires a huge investment of efforts, time, and money. Or does it? Are there ways to create and grow a successful business where you can achieve success through leverage, collaboration, and attraction? My wonderful guest expert today asserts that it's not only possible, but she has done exactly that with several of her businesses. And it's not all. She also affirms that there are ways to save time, energy, and money instead of wasting all of it. And that it's never been easier and more difficult at the same time. Hello, powerful people. Welcome to the More Money with Millen, a show that is kind of operating manual for creating your best rich life. I'm Millen Livis, the host of the show and holistic financial independence mentor. As a financial mentor, my role is to help unlock your untapped potential for financial success and financial freedom, and boost your financial savviness so that you can have more money with less stress and less risk, and retire sooner or easier. Sadly, over 63% of Americans are currently living paycheck to paycheck, and more than half of them are making six figures a year or more. Having money doesn't make you good with money. Behind every financial success story is a journey of growth, resilience, and commitment. Are you ready to embark on yours? If you're eager to get on a bullet train to financial freedom, let's connect. This month only, I have a few spots left to schedule a private, never worry about money again, complimentary money strategy session. Let's look and fix the problems that cause your money problems together. So here's the link to schedule this call. And the value of this call is almost $500. Go ahead and schedule it while this opportunity is available this month. Okay, so let's talk. Let's get to my wonderful guest. Welcome, Dannella Burnett. And we're going to talk about her 6 steps to six-figure events, 6 to 6, right? 6 steps to six-figure events. And I'm so delighted to have you with us today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Millen. I'm so excited to be here today. I love talking about events, and, you have an audience of entrepreneurs and business owners and, in general, people that are looking to make more with less. And I think events, when you're a business owner, is a great way to leverage time and to do more with less. So excited to bring this to your audience today.
And I couldn't find a better guest to talk on this topic, because you're really like a legend when it comes to organizing events and creating events, and not only your own, but also helping others to run the events. But let's start. We know each other for a while, but I want to introduce you officially, right? So Dannella Burnett is the owner of Encore Elite Events and Speakers Need to Speak. She is a creative force with a passion for connecting experts to those they serve through speaking and events, while generating profitable and impactful visibility. We all want that, right? So Dannella has grown her own 7-figure businesses through speaking, events, and publicity. And through her connections, millions of dollars have been generated and tens of thousands of lives impacted through speaking and live events. Dannella believes, I love that, in multiple streams of income, collaboration, and always finding the way to have win-win-win combination. I could not agree with this more. So Dannella, I am super excited to have you with us. It's such a treat. And I would like to start with just give us a 1 minute, 80 feet view on your journey, your own journey to the stage and event business.
Well, I'll do it. It covers a long period of time, but I'll do it shortly. It actually started with a 9-year-old Dannella who found Julia Child on television. And I absolutely just fell in love with the hospitality, the passion, the way that she shared her expertise. It drew people in, and it literally changed the way people thought about food, about cooking, about entertainment. And I thought that I was responding to the food. So I went on, I got a culinary degree and a food service management degree and started in the kitchen, but quickly started working directly with the clients who were doing special events. So it started with personal events, weddings, reunions. Then I moved to corporate events and nonprofit events and events with municipalities. And over the span of time, I've done events from 25 people to 250,000 people. And then I went to my own personal development event for the first time in about 2006 or 2007. And it was like everything came back together, and that spark in the 9-year-old was relit. And I realized that speakers were on the stage doing exactly what I'd seen Julia Child do, like share their expertise, share their passion with an audience, and it drew people in. And when you draw people in, and in our case in business, you draw people in closer to you, and you start doing business with those that you can serve and those that resonate with you, and there's incredible impact. And so my business started, gravitating towards that. By about 2017, I realized I too needed to step onto the stage in order to grow my business. And through our own work with events and our work with speakers, we launched Speakers Need to Speak in 2019. So we serve speakers looking to leverage other people's stages. And then we serve event hosts, which really are speakers looking to leverage their own stage. And everything we do now is in that coaching and enrollment and transformation space.
Love it, love it, love it. And your story about Julia Child is amazing. I remember when I started living in France and in both countries, and half a year in France, my friend mentioned that, have you read the book by Julia Child? I was like, who is she? She's like, you kidding me? You have to learn. She lived in France, and she had this series of cooking videos, and she wrote this amazing book. And that's how I didn't even know who she is, but she's like a big influencer in many ways on many people, actually. And I was like amazed that I was so ignorant of such a big celebrity that she was. So thank you for sharing this story. Okay, I know that you are really like the expert level as it comes to organizing events, and not only organizing or running events, but running profitable events. So you suggested that we talk about your 6 steps to 6-figure business. I would assume using events and speaking. So could you please walk us through your 6 steps?
Well, a lot of times when a business owner, maybe they've attended an event or they've heard about an event and they see results that other people get. And I would define an event as anytime you're bringing together an audience and you're sharing with them. And, these are business events, not personal, not for parties, not for awareness, not for nonprofit. Speaking about events in the business sense. So it could be a very short event. It could be a workshop or a masterclass. It could be a 1-day event. It could be a summit, a challenge, or a larger 3-day enrollment event where you might be offering your high ticket services. So that's what I'm talking about when I talk about events today, or business events where you want to bring together an audience. You want to share your expertise and make an offer for them to do business with you. So that's what I'm defining as an event for today's talk.
Okay.
So a lot of times business owners, though, they'll get this idea, like, I'm going to do a talk and I want to do an event and I want to launch this product or this service. And so they get excited. They do a little bit of work kind of fleshing out the event. And then they immediately say, I need to fill this event. And they go immediately to marketing. And I call that the two-step process. And unfortunately, that two-step process doesn't always get you the results that you're looking for, because there's steps that are missed along the way that really do lead to the success and do a pretty good job of almost guaranteeing the success that you don't get when you do that kind of haphazard and you start filling the room, filling the audience. The audience may not be in alignment. They may not have similarities. So that two-step process can often result in event hosts losing money, losing credibility, and certainly not getting the results that they're looking for. And especially in an in-person event where you might have considerable hard costs of the venue and food and beverage and team and so forth. So I have a 6-step process. And if you build your event in this order, we can come pretty close to guaranteeing success. In fact, since 2019, we've been tracking our 3-day event clients who are selling a high ticket offer where the goal is often 6 or 7 figures in a weekend. 95% of our 3-day event clients do a minimum of $100,000 in revenue. Many of them doing multiple 6 figures to $1 million in that 3-day window. So these are the 6 steps that'll get those kind of results. And the first one is the end in mind. I think it's critical that you spend time really thinking about, why are you doing this event? What's the offer for the event? Because the offer that you're going to make really impacts how much time you need with that audience, what the environment should be like, how much time you need to build that customer journey in the event so that when you make an offer, your audience is ready to say, yes, that's for me, or no, that's not. Because what we want is a clear answer. Mm-hmm. We want to be able to ask the question and the right people raise their hands, and the people that it's not right for, that's a great answer too. We want that clarity. Also within that first step, think about, what should the environment be like? If it's an in-person event, is it a little bit more formal or a little bit more casual? Should you be booking space at the Red Roof Inn, or should you be booking space at the Ritz-Carlton? Very different experiences. Is food or beverage an important part of it? Is it more of a retreat, more casual? Who's in the audience? Are they men? Are they women? Does that matter? Are they young? Are they old? Does that matter? Are they in a particular industry? Like, what ties them together when you look out across the stage in your mind and you look at your audience? What's the problem that they have that you're looking to solve? What are some of the other experts that you might invite in to provide valuable content? And sometimes we even have clients do a vision board around their event at this time to really define what that target is, to have a clear image in their mind. Because the clearer that image is of that goal, the more likely you're going to make decisions along the way to help you reach that goal. Like any goal, and I know that you work with clients on this, if you have a financial goal and it's right in front of you, you're going to make decisions and take steps that lead to that goal. If you don't know where you're going, you don't plug something into the GPS, who knows where you're going to land? So really, really important first step.
Okay.
Second step is it must make dollars and cents. And as a financial expert, you'll love this step. And this is often skipped by event hosts. But I want you to do a comprehensive budget. When we work with clients, we have a budget that we work through with them that has 200 items on the expense side. Now, you don't have to spend everything in those particular line items, but we don't want any surprises. We want to make conscious decisions, and the items on there are as big as the venue to as small as postage stamps, because every bit that you spend on your event, you want to plan for, you want to budget for. And if you know what your expenses are first, it makes a lot more sense when you look at the potential revenue for an event to see if it makes dollars and cents. So after you look at your expenses, and you may not know every price, but we can put a range in there, we can put a budget in there, or we can asterisk those items that we need to go out and get quotes. We need to find out what potential prices might be. Then we can look at the revenue for the event and take a look at where are we going to make revenue. Ticket sales, variety of different ticket price points. You might have regular tickets or early bird or VIP or members or kids prices or adult prices or senior prices or last minute at the door. Like, how are you going to sell tickets and at what price point? You might have VIP experiences. You might have excursions. You might have sponsors. You might have the offer that you're going to make at the event. You might have concessions. I mean, there's 13 different ways that you might make money at the event. And probably 2 to 5 of them are right for your particular event. And so how many tickets do you need to sell in order to cover your expenses? If your goal is to make money before your event starts, it's important to know. If your goal is to break even, or if your goal is to not make money before the event starts, but make money during the event, you want to make sure you can see that on paper. You also want to take a look at what we call a ticket map. When you look at those different ways that you're going to make money for your event, let's say that you need 100 tickets sold in order to make your budget make sense. We want to take a look at, where are you going to meet the people that you invite to partake in your event? Are you doing Facebook ads or paid advertising? Or are you getting on other people's stages and inviting people to your event? Are you doing webinars? Are you doing a challenge? Are you doing a summit? Are you doing other lead generation strategies? Like, how are you going to get 100 people at your event? And how can you track that? Because if you're going to fill your event through speaking opportunities, you want to keep track of each speaking opportunity and how many tickets did you sell? What do you need to do more of? What's working? What's not working? And if you can imagine, we haven't shared this with the world yet. We're still working on paper at this point. So if something isn't looking like it'll work, or we need to make an adjustment, far easier to do at this point, before you've spent money, before you've started inviting possibly the wrong people to your event. So we want it to make dollars and make sense before you move forward. Is all this tracking so far, Millen?
Absolutely. I love this. And I see how important it is to do due diligence with your guidance before you even engage yourself in terms of inviting people, booking the venue, etc. This due diligence is gold. And thank you so much for sharing these first 2 steps. So I'm all ears.
Awesome. Yeah, this is important. And doing this stuff either with an event producer and strategist like myself, or at least doing this work as you're hearing it from me today with your team or yourself, will solve you. It'll just save you so many headaches as you move forward. The third step I call logical logistics. And that's really taking this budget and the ticket map and the plan that you have and putting it into place. That's getting your contracts, getting your vendors lined up, getting your team and your technology lined up. If you're doing it in person, getting your venue, starting to work on food and beverage and things like that. It's starting to sell your tickets, creating your registration forms. How are you going to do all the things that you've put onto your budget? So I call this stage logical logistics. You're putting it into action. Mm-hmm. Now we go to step 4, which I call marketing, not mayhem. Because if you've done this work in step 1 through 3, the marketing becomes so much easier. You have a clear idea of who you want to market to from the work you did in step 1. You have a clear idea of what your budget is for marketing, or how you're going to do the marketing and how you're going to track it, and what your goals are from the work you did in step 2. So now you can market with confidence and you can track. Is it working? Is it not working? Are we getting results from our Facebook ads? Are when you're speaking, are you selling tickets? Are you in the right place? And what's working, so you can do more of it or less of it in order to reach your goals. So the work you did before just makes this so much easier.
Dannella, how soon you recommend to start marketing before the event date?
If it's a virtual event, we do find people are still kind of last minute, which can be, a little bit troublesome for the event host. You want to know who's coming early, but people are a little last minute by nature. If it's a virtual event, it might be as little as a few days to a few weeks, certainly not more than a few months that you're promoting a virtual event. If it's an in-person event, you do want to allow for a little bit more time that you have that in place, because people have to factor in travel and so forth. So it really does depend on the commitment that you're looking for from your audience. If it's a webinar or a masterclass that's only a couple of hours, you're likely to see the big results in a couple of days, a couple of hours to a couple of days, you might fill that event. If it's in person, you want to give a little bit more time. You may still have people make the commitment a little bit last minute, but you want to have that information out there and be sharing it frequently. So anywhere from a few days to a few months, typically.
Got it. Thank you.
And then the steps that nobody sees, you want to give yourself anywhere from a couple of weeks to a couple of months to do those first steps before you go to marketing. All right. So now we're into the home stretch. We're looking at our event. I call step 5, execute with excellence.
What was the step 4? Just remind me, because maybe I missed it.
Marketing, not mayhem.
Okay. Thank you.
So now you're ready for your event and you're getting close to it. You want to make sure that you execute with excellence. And that means, do you have team or do you have technology? Have you practiced different steps? Do you need to have a run through of the AV or meetings with your speakers? Do you need to have meetings with your team? So you want to do that preparation to having an excellent event. You want to make sure that you have the team and technology to execute. You want to make sure you communicate with the attendees, whatever they might need. How do they log in, or where do they show up? So all of that goes into executing the event, making sure your attendees can get there and you've got people in place. And if you're the event host, I cannot urge you enough to get support, at least at this point. Whether that's family or friends or your community or your team, or you hire a team, make sure that you can be the host on stage, that you can be fully present with your attendees, because your results are going to be exponentially better. If you can focus on them and connect with them, if you're looking to sell your programs, products, or services, you're going to be able to do that much better if you're not distracted by the things that your team or technology can take care of. So execute the event. Okay. And then last step, step 6, I call don't brief the debrief. In a short period of time following your event, make sure you gather your speakers, Make sure you gather your team and talk about the things that went well, the things that need some tweaks, and the things that didn't really come off as planned, especially if you were trying things for the first time. I call these the do-overs, the do-agains, and the do-nevers, because most events are meant to be repeated. So while things are fresh in your mind, brainstorm your new ideas, talk about things that worked, talk about things that you need to do differently so that you're better prepared when you look to do that event again. And you might even send out a survey to your attendees, get their viewpoint on what really worked for them, what they'd like to see for the future. And then you've built a great plan. You can duplicate that. You can continue to iterate that and grow your business. But these are the steps that when you do them in order and you're conscious about it, you can get the results that you're looking for.
I absolutely love it. I see how comprehensive this plan is for especially newbies, right? It's like you pointed out to every little detail that maybe people who just really newbie, they would not even consider and think about. Thank you so much for sharing this. I have another question for you. So you mentioned when we talked before that it's easier and harder than ever before to grow your business. What exactly do you mean by this?
So there are more stages to speak on than ever before. You know, we used to refer to stages really just as events that you would go to live and in person. And of course, 2020 changed all of that. Now there's in-person events, there's virtual events, hybrid events, podcast, radio, television, social media. These were not as prevalent just a couple of years ago. So the number of opportunities of where you can step onto a stage as a speaker to meet your next clients or collaborations or get leads has never been easier. Same thing with events. It used to be more expensive. You had to do events in person and you had to pay for a venue. You had to pay for food and beverage. It was expensive and you had to put that money up front. Now you can do a virtual event that might have very little out of pocket before the event starts, and you can get exponentially amazing results. So that's why it's easier than ever before. The reason why I also say it's harder than ever before is because of that volume, it's noisy out there. If you are generic in your messaging, if you're haphazard in your planning, you're not going to get the results that you're looking for. So you have to have a plan. You have to be specific. You have to be speaking to the people that are really going to resonate with your message. If you try to talk to everybody, it's expensive and it's not going to get results. And I'll give an example. We have a client who is an expert in intuition and meditation and healing and EMF and tapping. Amazing resources and tools and modalities that really could help anyone on the planet. And the results are really diverse. People get better mindset. They lose weight. They become more productive. They stop clutter. I mean, any number of things could be on the other side of that. But if you throw all of that out into the noisy environment that's out there, nobody is going to hear you. It's like the drop of water in the ocean. It just gets swallowed up. So for that client, what we did is we created the event, but for the first event, she did the Thrive event for high achieving procrastinators. She super targeted her audience so that all of her marketing was for that high achieving procrastinator. So people could raise their hands and go, that's me. I want to go to that event. Great success. She offered her program. She made sales. After a few iterations of that, she decided she wanted to serve another part of the audience that she could. And she did the Thrive event for yo-yo dieters. And again, people knew that's me, and they would come to the event. Now, from her standpoint and from the event standpoint, it was about 80% the same from one event to the next. But by changing some of her marketing, by changing some of the stories that she used, by changing some of her messaging, she attracted different people to the audience, but she had the same sale for everybody. It was her program and her services. So that's one example of how you want to be specific, you want to be clear, and how you can take this noisy environment and cut through with messaging and positioning. So that's why I think it's easier than ever before, but also harder than ever before, because you've got to have clarity.
Makes sense. So we're running out of time, Dannella. I know that you have a gift for us, for our audience today. So could you please talk about this gift a little bit? I will share the link here.
Yep. When you go to that link, you're going to see a resource, 6 Steps to Six-Figure Events. I went through this pretty quickly today with Millen and certainly touched on all the high points, but there's some other specifics and some tools and some resources in my gift of the same name. And it'll also lead you to my calendar. If you'd like to plan an event, if you have some questions about an event, please, let's have a conversation. So take the resource, dig in, get excited about your event, and then let's have a conversation and see how we can bring that to life.
Dannella, thank you so much. It was brilliantly expressed and very, like I said, very comprehensive description of what people need to consider. And the opportunity to connect with you and to chat with you and to maybe prevent losing thousands and thousands of money by knowing what to do, what not to do. It's really very, very generous and very important for our audience. So thank you so much. And best wishes with all your future events. And I want to thank our audience for being with us today. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention. And I look forward to connecting with you again next week, same time, same place, to your health, wealth, and freedom.